Kind of use two cameras here. It's a miracle that I know how to use this technology. Trust me. All right. Hi, Texas. How are you? Hello, Chicago. Nice to see you. Let me open up the comments on the other social media. This is Dr. Wendy Walsh. I'm America's relationship expert. I've been studying the science of love for a few decades. And, it's a multidisciplinary discipline. Although I have a PhD in clinical psychology and I specialize in attachment theory, I'm really an evolutionary psychologist. And I think a lot about anthropology and what we're wired to do. Hi, Utah. Hi, Washington. Hi, Texas. Nice to see you on TikTok. My other social media here should be coming up now. Hello, Facebook. Hi, LinkedIn. Hi, YouTube. Hi, Twitter. Thanks for joining me here. This is my Wednesday night live stream. Already, I'm seeing questions popping up from YouTube. Question says, you're in your late 20s. You want some advice. Should you continue your relationship? Well, Arthur, you're going to need to give me more information than that. Hello, Hamburg. Hi, Washington. Hi, Utah. Good to see you. Send me a comment on my social media to tell me where you're watching from. It's always fun. Hello, upstate New York over there on TikTok. Hello, Arthur from Kissimmee, Florida. Houston, Texas. Hello. All right. So what I do here on Wednesdays is I only stay live for a few minutes and I answer 3 quick relationship questions. And then I go over to my private exclusive Zoom room on Patreon. So if you have not gone to my Patreon page yet, why not? You really must. The address is simple. It's patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. Patreon, patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. And every Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, we have a Zoom room, usually joined by about somewhere between 10 to 20 people. And we really talk about stuff, the science of love and also relationships, etc. Okay. What alternative to online dating? First question from TikTok is, what alternative to online dating do I suggest? Well, if you think of a relationship as an exchange of care, now we know that care can take many forms. It can be financial care, sexual care, domestic responsibility care, child care, emotional support care. But if a requirement for a good, healthy, intimate relationship is a degree of empathy and compassion, then you will meet the best people when you're volunteering. Join whatever volunteer organization is giving back to the community, and you will find like-minded people who are naturally caring. Okay. Hi, Linda from Pasadena. How are you? Hello, Juan. Where are you watching from? Okay. So what's a question from Arthur? Okay. So it's so general. His question is, what's one piece of advice for a young man who's confused in his relationship? How do I know if it's good for me? Well, in general, if you're feeling confused, it's probably not the right relationship for you. You see, real bonded love doesn't feel exciting. It certainly doesn't feel confusing, but it does feel like a home for the heart. It feels peaceful, right? And so if you're having confusion, the first place I would take those questions to is your mate. If you're wondering if they're into it, if there's a future together, what your goals are, what their feelings are, talk about it. Communication skills are everything. Hello from Mexico. Hi from Toronto. How are you? See, I said Toronto. There's no last T when you're from Toronto. Anybody have any questions up there on TikTok? Juan has a question here over on YouTube. He says, I have a really bad fear of abandonment. I know I used to have that feeling. It's terrible. What can I do? Okay, so here's what you need to do. You need to create some coping strategies, which means is that you need to surround yourself with a group of supportive people who you can reach out to when you feel anxiety. And, the anxiety is partly genetic, right? If it's showing up as attachment anxiety, it also may have an environmental piece. But all the same strategies about how to calm yourself when you're feeling anxious apply, whatever the anxiety is. Sometimes it's just directed to a love relationship. So my suggestion to you is surround yourself and have allies, people you can reach out to who remind you how lovable you are. And also people who can talk to you logically, that your fears don't make sense. I mean, we evolved as a species to have anxiety because it's a survival strategy. If you had to run from a bear, you had to know to be careful of those, right? But when there are no bears and you're feeling anxious anyway, it's just sort of like extra stuff that came up through evolution. So it's up to us to learn coping strategies. Yes, attachment theory is my theory. How can you be missing seeing me? People say that all the time. You see, TikTok doesn't show you all my videos. I put 1 or 2 videos a day up on TikTok. So you've got to remember to go over to my page to see them. And I go live every Sunday night during my KFI AM 640 radio show. And I also go live on Wednesday nights here at 6 o'clock. Do you do manifesting? What self-work do you do? Manifesting. I'm sorry. I just don't like the language. Manifesting. It's not in any textbook. Okay. If you're going to light some candles and have some crystals around and go woo, 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 maybe you can manifest. But I think if I could put it into psychological terms, what I would say is, I post a video today on TikTok saying life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Basically, if you can see it, you can be it. So if you can't see yourself in a good relationship, if you can't see yourself being loved and cared for, it's not going to happen. So you may use the word manifesting, and I would just simply say believing and going out to do the things to make it happen. That's the other thing. Life doesn't just come to you. Opportunity does not knock. You have to make your own luck. You have to learn some good relationship skills. But manifesting, sitting around dreaming, hoping that the universe will bring you things, no, I don't do that. But I've grown a backbone. I have a lot of self-confidence, and I know that I am worthy, and I can go out and ask for the things that I am worthy of, the things I need to receive. That's not manifesting. That's negotiating, right? Thank you, Sharms. You like the glasses. Thank you. Hi from California, Andrea. Nice to see you. A few YouTubers here tonight. Any more questions up on there on TikTok? Remember, I stay live only for a few minutes at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, and then I head over to my private exclusive Zoom room on Patreon. So you just go to patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh to join, as little as $4 a month. You can send me private messages there. I answer your relationship questions. My podcasts are there. My books are there. And we do an exclusive Zoom room. So you can meet me and ask me questions. Is daily communication a must? Excellent question. It depends. Who are you? What's your attachment style? What's the attachment style of your partner? What feels comfortable to you? If you feel you need daily communication, then you should communicate that to your partner. Don't sit around waiting and wishing. If they say that's too much, that feels too needy, then you want to say, can we discuss your avoidant attachment style or why you're unable to meet my needs? Right? These are conversations that people have, especially at the beginning of a relationship, when you're setting up the relationship system, right? Why does he text me every morning, then leave me on red? Is he bored or interested? Bored. He's also keeping a harem. He wants to make sure that he has you as a backup mate while he's out doing other stuff. The morning check-in guys are the ones that are just like, do I have her there? Do I have her there? Her there? Great. Yeah. If he leaves you on red, he's not being kind to you. And I would suggest blocking him. I'm sorry, but he doesn't deserve your attention or for you to respond. Sharms asked for advice for a long distance relationship. Let's put that up there. Okay. The most important thing for every long distance relationship is that you have an end date and it's set. It's a date where you're going to sit and go, either I'm moving there or you're moving here, but it's ending at this point. We got to figure it out. Because if you sit around wondering, waiting, like, remember when quarantine started and we all thought it was 2 weeks, and then it went on and we didn't know when it was going to end, and we felt deregulated. That's what happens. You can hold on in a long-term relationship as long as you need to, as long as you know there's an end date. So you have to establish an end date. Then you have to establish some rules about communication. How often? What manner? For instance, even though my boyfriend doesn't live with me, he lives fairly close, but I've noticed that he's better on FaceTime. He needs the visual. And when we're talking on the phone, he starts to talk like it's a business call or something. So he needs that for his intimacy. So figure out what people need, whether they need video, whether they need phone, how often you speak, and also set your meetings on the calendar. So let's say you decide you're going to do a long distance relationship for 6 months. Plan twice a month to see each other. Someone goes there, someone goes there. You each do a trip once a month. I think that's very fair. Otherwise, it's not a relationship. It's just a fantasy person you're texting. Advice on someone you're working with that you broke up with. That's a hard one because, Listen, the reason why a lot of human resources departments ban workplace relationships isn't about the love part. It's the breakup part. That's always when it becomes problematic. You need to keep very clear boundaries if you're going to try to work together, continue to work together, which means be 100% professional. Don't talk about anything personal. If they try to bring up something personal or treat you snarky or whatever, you've got to either ignore it or say, can I call you tonight when we can talk about it out of the office? That's you. I mean, that's how lawsuits happen. It's a mess. There's lots of other places to meet people. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a hard one. Okay. Has my anxious attachment ever come out with my current boyfriend? Well, here's the thing. I feel like I'm pretty much healed. However, during times of stress, we can have what we call relapses, right? Things will ebb and flow. It's not about whether I feel anxious every once in a while. It's how I react to that anxiety. What coping strategies do I have? And my best coping strategy is always to talk about it. So when I was younger, I would just sit inside and seethe. And I actually read this research this week that was so cool. It was saying that people with an anxious attachment style, when they feel mad, are too afraid to express it because they're afraid the person will leave and abandon them. But when then times are going well, they create a conflict because they get out their anger then. Like they become the drama queens at the wrong times because they're mad about something that happened during a vulnerable moment in the relationship and they were too afraid to express it then. I found that so interesting. So yeah, we all have anxiety in our relationships, but the answer is, how do you deal with it, right? How do you deal with it? Okay, one more question. Let me take it from TikTok. How do you feel about age gap relationships? Well, it all depends. Here's the biggest problem with age gap relationships, or thing that needs to be negotiated at the beginning, is if one of you is in your fertility window, and I say this very clearly because we used to spend a lot of time criticizing women and their old eggs, but now we know that men who father children over the age of 40 have kids with a much higher rate of autism and other developmental disorders. So guys, you do have a fertility window, okay? Don't think you can just procreate. So if one of you is in a fertility window, the discussion about having children has to come up, and you got to figure that out kind of at the beginning. Now, if both of you are outside of your fertility window, then it doesn't matter, right? You can just enjoy each other's company, and it also doesn't have to be necessarily a long-term relationship. What's most important is the exchange of care and respect. Do both people have a voice in the relationship? Or is there a weird power imbalance because of the age? That's what we want to think about. Alrighty, so thank you for saying that. It's so good to see you guys. I'm always live. Remember, I'm going over to my Patreon room right now. It starts at 6:30. Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. We do a live Zoom room every Wednesday at 6:30. That's where you can also access my podcast and books for as little as $4 a month. So come on over. I'm also live on TikTok during my radio show. For the rest of you, I'm live on the radio every Sunday from 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific time on KFI AM 640 Los Angeles. You can listen anywhere in the world on the iHeartRadio app. There, I got it all out, everything I needed to say. Anyway, emotionally unavailable men, just if he's triggering you, get rid of him. You got to start over. You need to pick somebody who's emotionally available. See, I can't stop answering the questions. Okay, bye everybody. I'm going over to patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. Good to see you. I'll see you.